Part 2, Sedative Sermons. Sedative sermons have been sedating our people to sleep while clapping their hands, standing and stomping their feet, while sitting in the pews of their seats, making strong men passive, recessive, and weak. So this message comes as the trumpet of truth and urgent revival in the last days of this age, final hours. A final call for all those who preach and teach to stand up, speak out, liberate and reach, and call weak ministers of men off retreat. You see, our people are dying, beat down by the corruption of injustice in police industry. Many can't walk or drive around without racially profiled or cars is legally impounded as black and brown bodies are shot down. And since many of you like to use Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King annually come January, I pose the question. So where is our Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King in Lake County on the scene of things who march and protest like Jesus or the story Jesus, speaking truth to power? Or are we worshiping under cowards in these final hours? Is political donations and funds purchasing many of the preacher's silence, making it easier to retreat, to laying all fault and blame at the black community feet while making laughter and mockery of those on drugs and struggling in the misery of the streets? Compromising for crumbs. Many are far more passive than Angel Mammy and more dangerous than Sambo with a gun. Sedative sermons are written and delivered void of black pride and liberation, with the intent to numb our minds and tongues from protesting and speaking out against the injustices of discrimination. A minister once asked me, he said, "Blanks, what make you so proud of being black?" Here's what I had to say to that. As Egypt of Kemet, which is in Africa, being the original land from which Christianity and all other religions began, from which the original man also was sin, God made me so. I thought you would know. Therefore, that's one thing in my life I could never mess up while under attack, nor in my past life of Cain and crack. As I looked into the blackness of his face, I asked, "What make you so ashamed of being black?" He quietly hung his head in shame and he could never answer back. Now, with all of the beautiful and vivid colors in God's creation and imagination, sedative sermons deliver excuses, lies, and lines, as God, being colorblind, would say sermon sayings of God will fight your battle and you really don't have to march and protest. Now, this is truth to a certain degree, I must confess. But yet and still, God has always sent stories of Jesus, Samson's, Moses, Muhammad's, and David's out to the battlefield. Would say sermons saying of Brother Blanks, you and them bam people, you too radical out there with all of this protesting and marching, and maybe you just need to calm down. Trying to sedate our hype and excite for our divine rights, to fight the good fight and stomp injustice into the ground. I'm telling you, many of these sedative sermon ministers are sedating our people to sleep while clapping their hands, standing and stomping their feet while sitting in the pews of their seat, making strong men passive, recessive, and weak. So this message comes as a trumpet of truth and urgent revival. And the last days of this age, final hours, a final call for all those who preach and teach to stand up, speak out, liberate and reach, and call weak ministers of men off retreat.